Hello, my name is Nigel Griffiths. I work at IBM in the UK. This is a series of videos on the IBM Cloud PowerVS service where you can get hold of AIX for £2 or $3 or €3 per day. This is part 6 of the series, How Do I Upgrade AIX? Now, I am assuming that when you created your AIX on PowerVS that you actually got the right release of AIX. 7.2 is the current one. At the end of 2021 we'll also have 7.3. So we'll talk about updating the technology level and the service pack. With the cost of PowerVS, you've already paid for your AIX license, it's built in. So how do you get hold of the updates, download them and then install them? And the answer is all in the IBM Cloud PowerVS documentation. This is the title of the page, and here's the URL. I'll put this in the YouTube description. It wants you to use an AIX feature, or the AIX command actually, called suma. I haven't used the suma command. I tend to do it old school, downloading files and things, but suma looks like a pretty neat idea that I should have been using for many years. So I thought I'd quickly put this into a video. So I'm using X Windows on my own AIX machine and then using SSH in these two windows to get to my PowerVS copy of AIX. And I changed my prompt up in here, so it's actually telling me this is AIX 7.2, Technology 5, Service Pack 1. And I'm pretty sure there's a new service pack out. The OS level -s command gives you the full AIX version number. You can see here, this 20 here means 2020, so that's last year. Now it's June 2021 at the moment. And the 38 is the week number, so that's sometime in, is it August or something, last year. So this one is about 9 months out of date, so I think there's a new version out. It came out in the first quarter this year. So how are we going to find that and update AIX to get to the latest service pack? First of all, I'm going to do a quick df-g and look at my file systems. We have one in here, and this seems to be full of the installation images of AIX, the 7.2 TL5 Service Pack 1, and this is where it's going to put the new code, and you can see there's very little free in here. So I'm going to expand this up to, let's just call it 16 gigabytes or something, and then we know we're not going to run out of space when we download the new version. Change file system attribute size equals 16 gig. This file system here actually got nmon running over here. You can see that it went busy on the disks as I did that, and it's changed the size. So we've now got 16 gig in total and 8 gig free. So that's going to definitely be okay for downloading a copy of AIX. I made the windows slightly bigger so you can see everything on the screen here. So here's the date. Notice we're in CDT. That's the time zone of Texas, because that's where I'm running it. And it's coming up to 15 minutes past 11 o'clock in the morning. So at 16 minutes past 11, this format in here is the same as the cron tab. So we got there's a crazy order of the minutes and then the hours and the other ones over here. So we just want to run it at the 16th minute, and we'll just set that going. And it's created it. We can do a suma -l command. It will show us that it's there. What we're doing in here is getting the latest type, the latest fixes in here. This will do it at 16 minutes past every 11 o'clock every day. So we may want to put in our cron things here to make this happen once on 1 o'clock in the morning on every Sunday or something like that. But once that clicks in, and what's the time and date now? 16, that's 9 seconds ago. So we can see down here there's some Java running, and we're right into our disks heavily. This probably looks like the download, and so it's kicked off and it's doing its job. Now that could take some time, so I'll break the movie and we'll come back to when that stopped. Okay, so roughly 20 minutes later, that all stopped. Suma, no programs running. During the download, I increased the memory from 2 gigabytes to 4 gigabytes as I noticed that we'd run out of memory. 2 gigabytes just isn't really enough to do any real work. I also increased the CPU from a quarter of a CPU to a whole CPU, and that seemed to improve the speed of the download. Okay, so if we do a diff, you can see we take in a fair bit of chunk of our new file system. If we go into this directory, we'll find a few files and directories. We'll go into the installp directory. In here there should only be one directory. We go into that and then we look at all the files in time order. Then we can find this whole load of files. It is June the 17th. So a lot of files were downloaded. These are all the updates. In fact, we do that again and then we'll just count them. There's 262 files. Right, so the next thing we want to do is to actually do the install. From experience, we need plenty of space in some core file systems before we do an upgrade. And we've noticed in DF that some of these directories are very small at the moment. Clear. A lot more space in these places in here. Home is tiny, but that shouldn't use it. Admin, when nobody knows what that's for, and everything else looks okay. So now you'll notice we're in this directory where the files are, so that just makes things easier. Otherwise, we'd have to name this directory as the source of the update. So good old smitty update. Smitty update all, and we're going to tell it the current directory and preview yes, that should be okay. And I always put the accept in for the license agreement because that'll catch us out on some bizarre thing. When I did this before, I think it was OpenSSL, so we needed the license approved. So this is just a preview. It's going to go through checking here now about the sizes and does everything fit, and it's all upgrade. Going to work with prerequisites to the update. That's going to work. So we do escape 3 to come out of that. We go back up in here and say preview no, and do that planning again, and this time actually try to do the update. Finished. 5,000 lines of output. So I'm going to whiz down to the bottom of that. Don't think I've... There we go. Software changes require the system and any of its diskless or dataless clients. Gosh, that's a blast from the past, isn't it? To be rebooted in order to make the changes effective. That means we changed the kernel itself, so we need to reboot it to activate the new code. We'll come out of that. Let's escape 0. If we do an OS level -s now, TL5, so it's pack 2, and that came out in 2021 week 14. So now we'll do a shutdown -fr, fast shutdown, and reboot. I'll pick up that new kernel. Of course, it will log me out of my screens here, and I'll have to re-log in after a minute to let it bounce back up. So that's the end of part 6, upgrading AIX. Surprisingly easy. I even learned something about suma. Maybe I'm using that more often in the future. If you've learned something or enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up. Thank you for watching. Part 7, I'm not sure yet. It could be one of 3 different topics. I decide which one I can finish off first.